Okay, Josh, I want you to tell me your thoughts on Princess Leia's first fake death. I guess she only had one death in this movie, but you know, thinking she should have had another one. But go ahead. Your thoughts on the Superman space death, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Everyone's calling it the Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins. That's right. I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. First of all, I liked it and I didn't like it. Okay. I didn't like it because it felt out of place. I mean, nobody that I can recall in any Star Wars movie ever did anything like it. So it was just kind of out of place. But I did like it in the aspect of everyone was expecting some sort of death for Leia. And so I thought it was cool that they didn't do that.
So I know Rhett's immediate defense against that. What he said was accurate. We have not seen anything like that in the movie.
Talking about Leia using the Force, yes. We're talking about like the hibernation trance thing.
However, surviving in space is 100% canon.
Yeah, absolutely. Luke did it in the expanded universe
before, but in the new expanded universe, the current expanded universe, Clone Wars, Plo Koon does it. He doesn't freeze first, but he does survive in space.
In the Clone Wars cartoon, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It did happen, Plo Koon.
There's a version of it that happens, I should say.
So, in that then, is Leia or intentionally doing it, or do you think the Force is just like preserving her?
I have no clue.
I would argue that it's mostly because it has been canon for a while that when a Force-sensitive child or anyone else is put in the position of danger, they are able to reach into the Force and do things beyond what their training would allow them to. I think that is what happened with Leia. She has no official training, but in a moment of life or death, she's able to access the Force, and she uses it. The reason why this scene works for me is because she's grabbing onto something on the ship or in the ship or whatever else,
the ship,
and she's pulling it to her, but because she is in space without any resistance, it pulls her to the ship. And that is why it works for me.
And I was okay with it. I
want to talk about audience reactions, though, because the first time we saw it, it was just us. And
5 people in the theater.
Right, 5 people in the theater. And it was...
I had goosebumps.
I had goosebumps until she floated, and then I was all like, oh, that was interesting. I didn't know that was going to happen. Because I love the scene leading up to that. And I thought this is a good goodbye for her. I'm glad they didn't stop at her just getting blasted out, because that would have been dumb.
Yeah.
But they actually show her in space, and I was kind of like, that's interesting. But on my second viewing with an audience, they laughed. They actually audibly laughed when the scene happened. And I don't think that was the intention.
No.
I don't know if anyone else has had other audience reactions. The third time I saw it...
You know what? I saw it on Christmas Day, so it was like 2 weeks after it had come out. 10 days, I guess. And everybody actually cheered when she came back.
Wow.
So
I haven't had that reaction on any of my viewings.
Yeah, it was actually really... The crowd was very much pro-movie the whole time. They were cheering for everything, and they were clapping in previews.
Presents and candy and stuff, probably.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was the recliner seats. I mean, I don't know. That could have been it, but it was. I mean, it seemed everybody was really happy with it. They cheered at the end.
Well, I was with Rhett when I saw it the first time, and it happened, and I was like, that was sudden. Rhett's like,
no, at the part where it shows her, and then the bridge explodes behind her, and then she ducks down and gets sucked out. That's when you said it was sudden.
I was like, whoa.
That was my second viewing. I still had goosebumps when she does it again. And again, like I said before, that could just be my personal viewing of everything. But I was in favor of that. I thought it was... I thought it played out.
Right. Let me throw in a minor little rewrite here. I don't think it's the concept that most people had a problem with. I think it was just the visual of her flying in, and I don't think anyone had a problem with her seeing her use... I've heard some idiots make criticisms about we've never seen Leia use the Force and no one's ever done that. That's ridiculous because it's like you don't know all the aspects of the Force, and the movie hasn't captured everything every Jedi could ever do. That's less effective.
Less effective.
That's less effective.
It's a missionary term.
It's ridiculous to argue that Leia
That's Queech.
has no opportunity to use the Force or that she couldn't.
Yeah, you can't say I know what all the Jedi can do. That's ridiculous. That's like
Or even all that Leia can do. Because all we know is that she is Luke's sister,
right,
and that she potentially has not received any training.
And
that means nothing.
And you can say that's like talking to someone about like the Book of Mormon, right? You're telling them stories, and you're like, "Here's what a prophet did, and this prophet did this, or whatever." And like, or people complain about or how they think that the Old Testament prophets, those stories are just exaggerated because we don't see that kind of a thing today, or we don't have, and Christ didn't seem to do some of those kind of big things. It'd be like, dismissing one is not believable because you didn't see it in the ones that you're more comfortable with. We've never seen anyone do a Force hibernation space trance, save myself from an exploding ship, so it's impossible. I just think that's a ridiculous dismissal of it.
It does look kind of silly.
It's the visual. So here's the thing. Here's what I think would have been better. It blows up. First of all, just mention right there that Admiral Ackbar, one of the most beloved characters of Star Wars, was also on that bridge.
Toss-away line.
And
That's
just
so dumb.
died. I didn't even know that was him in there until someone said it later. And they were like, by the way, Admiral Ackbar, everyone else is dead. I'm like, wait, what? That was Admiral Ackbar? He didn't even say it's a Trevor, anything cool. And so just his dying there without any acknowledgement was, other than just them referencing it, like on the
Have
list
him
later.
at least driving one of the other ships
Yeah,
that
just
get
something.
blown up or something.
Yeah,
big.
or have him had a line or something earlier in the movie, so we were like, oh, cool, Admiral Ackbar's there.
Ackbar.
And then we see him die, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Well, I would say to counter that, we knew Admiral Ackbar was a part of the Resistance from Force Awakens.
That's fine.
For him to be a part of the command bridge of the Radis makes sense to me.
Yeah, I was fine with it. I was happy with him being there. But just like...
You're okay
Not
with that toss-away line of a death?
I'm just saying, when they said that, it was like, of course he was on the main bridge, and of course he gets sucked out like everyone else. He just didn't have
Are
the
you
force to
okay
bring
with
him back.
his death, though, being just a throwaway?
Nothing was written in.
I don't think, me being okay with it means anything. I think it...
Situationally, it makes sense.
Yes.
Story-wise, it's bullcrap.
No, story-wise, it's
terrible.
fine. Your nostalgia is what makes it bullcrap.
But again,
No.
these are
Yes,
fans'
absolutely.
complaints.
It's based on
Yes, and
multiple
fans'
movies.
complaints are based on nostalgia.
disappointments. But
He's set up in several movies, and then it's like, oh yeah, and he died.
Several movies
That's
being
not good
two.
storytelling.
Yeah.
How many movies is Admiral Ackbar in, and how
Been
many
two.
cartoons?
but
Cartoons and Clone Wars and whatever else.
It has
Yes,
nothing to do
he's been
with screen time. We're talking about how beloved of a character he is.
Well, yeah.
And
yes,
it's a
he's
trap
beloved
is a
character.
tagline that everyone knows, even if they are not really that familiar with Star
So
Wars.
if they have given us the fan service of him saying, once again, it's a trap
I would
before
love that.
dying,
I'd have loved that.
yeah, you would have loved it for
Yeah,
nostalgia.
But it would have been something.
But
Yeah.
it would not have added to anything.
It's an anticlimactic
Yeah.
ending for a beloved character.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
also,
that's just,
If they had spent any more time on it, it would have added to the runtime of an already long.
they didn't have to spend a lot of time
No,
on
that's
it.
why they can cut out the casino stuff.
They were willing to show a
That's
general
interesting.
who we've never seen before get blown up in the frigate.
Yeah.
Why couldn't that have been replaced with Admiral
Oh,
Ackbar?
perfect.
I'm not saying it couldn't have been. I'm just saying
That's what I'm
that's
saying.
not
That
what
would have just been
No,
it's
it's
anticlimactic.
it's
right.
nostalgia that
This-
makes that
No,
scene
the problem is Ryan
anticlimactic.
Johnson hates Star Wars fans
Or
when he
doesn't.
does stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying he hates them all or whatever, but he's saying, I'm going to turn this on its head just because.
See,
I think it's more just he would have been on the bridge. The bridge gets blown up. He gets sucked out
Again,
in
you're
space.
saying it's practical, but it just doesn't work.
It's
It-
what,
okay, it
what's
doesn't
practical
work
is not
for
Star
you
Wars.
guys.
It's a universe of Force users and mysticism and legends and destiny and reaching your destiny, and then it's like this character who's done all these wars. Yeah, he just gets blown out and shoved out.
Now
in
let's
space.
have a
It's
little
dumb.
moment with this guy you've never heard of before.
And then
And
yeah,
he
let's
dies.
go see this dude who just dies.
Sacrifice
But it's
himself
not.
in
It's
the show.
not Admiral Ackbar.
And they even show the medical frigate slowly. In fact, she sees it. Doesn't Rey see that shit blow up? Isn't it kind of?
No, I
don't remember. Yeah, but it's just
Holdo.
they talk about it.
It's Holdo
they're out of
specifically
gas.
that's watching
Yeah,
the,
that's right.
The hologram.
But there's a little more a little more moment with that guy than Admiral Ackbar. Just by the way, he was also on the casualty list. That's all. But I'm just saying, it's as a story, it's a criticism for me that was a disappointment.
I don't
and
think
a decision.
Admiral Ackbar's death has anything to do with the story of the movie.
So why even bring it up?
Why was he in the movie? Yeah.
So that's even worse. It's a pointless throwaway line.
You can say it's
You're just
worse if
wasting
you
time.
want, but it's the depth, right? You're saying there are people there that died that mattered.
What does it accomplish?
It
People
makes
who
you,
died that mattered?
It makes you sad.
No, it
that
makes
the
you
bridge
say,
blew
I
up.
don't believe that, which is like 80% of the movie anyways.
Well, it makes you say that.
No, a lot of people say that.
It
I
makes
don't believe a lot
people
of what
say
happened.
that.
All right.
It doesn't add or detract anything from the story. It is depth given.
It does take
If
you
you
out
don't
of the
want to
movie.
accept it,
It actually takes you out of the movie because you're all
it
like,
takes
wait, what? Admiral
you
Ackbar died?
Yeah.
out of the movie.
No, it took a lot of people out of the movie. A lot of
Okay.
people.
Okay.
You didn't say, "Oh wait, Admiral Ackbar died."
So-
You didn't do that at all.
I was
There
like,
was,
oh,
you had
that's
no
sad he
reaction.
died.
You were just like, "Admiral Ackbar died," and you're all like,
No.
no.
I
I'm
was
just gonna
sad that he
change it.
died. It was not an issue to me, the method of his death.
See, I'm still convinced that Rian Johnson doesn't really know Star Wars or has really seen the movies other than years ago. My thought is possibly he was writing his little script, and they got to the part, and he had this character with the medical frigate and everything going down, and then they came in while they started production. They're like, "Oh, by the way, this is the guy that fit the costume for Admiral Ackbar," and he has no idea who Admiral Ackbar is, so he's like, "Oh, that is." And he just writes him in the bridge, and just moves on with his story. He's like, "Well, here's this other guy I wrote this little scene for." He had no clue to make it someone special, and then obviously.
So he specifically wrote that line just because he was like, I don't know who Admiral Ackbar is.
Because they gave him a
so
list
I
and
just-
like a name, like, I should put this name in.
No, I
I
disagree.
It sounds to me like he didn't understand the importance of the character, and so he didn't. I mean, that's a missed opportunity on his part to really to add another moment, a special moment. These movies are about nostalgia. I mean, the whole reason they're putting them out is because people like us are going to talk about it, and we're going to spend lots of money going and seeing it multiple times because we love the series, even if we only like two of them. We just love the show, and so these are I'm a pro wrestling fan, and there's a reason why Hulk Hogan comes back in his 60s and everyone pays a bunch of money to see it, because we want to see him drop a leg drop and Hulk up and do all that stuff, and it's just something we want to see, and so he really missed an opportunity there to give everybody that moment that would have taken a couple minutes,
or a second,
So-
just a line. Right?
Yeah.
Or
Again,
something.
just replace other irrelevant characters with his moment instead.
So his.
But I think that would get too much into the realm of we're trying to appease these older fans. Like
What?
That's
There's no moments of that in the movie. There's
Yeah.
there's like
and
none.
Ryan
It's
Johnson
a-
is
it's a
specifically
kick in the pants.
avoiding that.
Right.
He's not writing the movie to appease to the people that are fans for decades. He's writing the movie in a way that he thinks the story should be told.
And
No, I disagree with that. I don't think he cares about the story. I think he cared about shock.
and just being
And I disagree.
contrary to
with
whatever
that.
anyone theorized. Okay, so let's get back to Leia. So we all agree. Even Red, you can't disagree that was a possible opportunity that would have been kind of cool to see. You
Yeah,
can't
I
argue
do
that.
disagree. I absolutely disagree.
You don't think it would have been cool for just even if he said it was a trap?
I think
I don't
that's
think he had to
just
say
pandering.
that.
No,
Yeah,
not at
that's
all.
just-
But
that's
just
absolutely
him
just
being
pandering.
there.
Okay,
Give him
if
an
they
end.
had done like one more minute with him, I wouldn't have complained. But at the same time,
Didn't take you out of it.
it did not take
Yeah.
me out of the movie. So once again, my personal viewing of the movie is reflecting on how I'm perceiving things, but it did not take me out of the movie, and I was sad that he died, but that's like Return of the Jedi. Many Bothans died. I don't know what the flip were Bothan.
Right.
I don't know what Bothans were
But
at the
doesn't
time.
that
but we
I
say
figured out
something?
later.
Yeah,
But we
it's
know
a
who he
nameless
is.
species of people in a story we didn't see. Many Bothans died, and she was more emotional and passionate about that sacrifice by the Bothans than Holdo was when she said, "Oh, by the way, they're all."
Well, that was not Holdo that said it, but I disagree. Mon Mothma and I don't remember her name, but the lieutenant that played that character, or the actor that played that lieutenant character, I think there was just as much emotion from either of them.
It should have been Leia that announced that. Oh, she was unconscious. Okay, so back to let me throw my visual of Leia. Okay, I think that was the problem. The Mary Poppins comparisons and the Superman comparison. I think what would have worked would have been kind of awesome. She blew up. We all expected her to die because Carrie Fisher died, unfortunately. So she gets sucked out, and we see the freezy skin thing layer come around her. And as an audience, we don't necessarily know what that means in the Star Wars universe or what he's trying to portray. And if it just done that, maybe she's just turning ice cold, and that was it. And they just didn't want to show her going inside out and everything with what would happen with pressure. But she just goes like that, and then she's out, unconscious. And then the Resistance, while they're flying, they see that she's still out there, and they retrieve her. And then when they retrieve her, they're like, well, that's our princess. We need to give her a burial. We need to honor her. We can't just leave her floating in space. And they're like, well, that's kind of weird that she's there, but whatever. We don't need a line about that. But just her being there, they get her. It brings the heart back into who she is for the Resistance, and she's been doing this her whole life. All these people just love and adore her, and they follow her out of that adoration. Take her in, and then, bam, now it's revealed later that she's alive. Or even if it's not revealed, and then she comes into the bridge later when she busts in there out of her coma, that would have been so much more amazing and just a bigger shock that would have been exciting if they didn't do the visual of her flying. Now, yes, we love seeing her use the Force, and that's been a big thing that everyone was excited about, and I was okay with that. I don't care if she was trained how to do that. I don't care if it was just innate in her that she did it, because apparently, according to this story, anyone can just use the Jedi or use the Force like a master without much training.
Minimal training.
Yeah. But that's okay. She's a Skywalker and is Leia. I'm fine with it. But it was just the vision. Everyone was. Even when she came back, no one had a big problem with her hand moving or anything. It was when she flew it was just that visual that everyone freaked out about. Except for it. But everyone else...
I don't know.
I just think that... just do it so. That's
crazy.
just a suggested rewrite. I think that would have been kind of cool. If they retrieved her and then it was a twist that she was still alive. That would have been kind of cool.
I think she should have just died.
Or just died. But would that have been too early in the movie?
It could have been. I think she could have died there, or I think she could have been Holdo's replacement to die. Yeah. I would have been okay with either of those. I don't think she should have survived to the end of the film.
Yeah. And I said that to Rat on the way home the first night. I said that would have been cool if she was the one that did the light speed. Freaking one of the most amazing movies amazing moments, I think, in sci-fi. Leia's death. And the thing is,
striking
in post-production,
into the heart as a rebel into the First Order.
She's like, totally. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which was her whole life put into that one action of her, like, you know what?
Yeah.
Would have been great. Anyway,
either one.
Can't do anything about it.
I disagree.
Because you hate plot and story and character arcs, apparently.
No, I love all those things.
We want everything that's anticlimactic to happen in stories.
If it was anticlimactic, no.
Remind me to put at the bottom, 3rd Nephi, talking about the spirit of contention is...
Yeah,
that's for sure.
The spirit of contention that has the most optimistic outlook on this movie out of everyone here, but that's fine. Yeah, that's cool.
All right. Anyway, but I'm just saying these little decisions just contributed overall to one rank. That's all left.
To your...
To my review.
To zero intrinsic value.
Zero.
All these little minutia things turned into...
No.
Story was terrible.
No. These are little decisions that was the second notch. The first one is the plot. So before we get into Snoke's death, here we go. Ready? Who wants to talk about what's the stupid planet name?
Octo or
Space Vegas?
Oh,
Canto
Bite.
Who wants to try and defend how? Okay, let me before
I like how he turned sword to Rhett and is like, who wants to defend?
Okay, before we talk about it,
I'm actually curious about Josh's take on this because I haven't talked to him yet. Josh,